Well, there's two good-looking people.
Yeah,
There it is.
raring to go.
Cindy makes you look a little better, Tony, by comparison. I'll just point that out.
Can you all see me?
I don't see you, Kay.
I see your initials.
There you are.
Well,
There you go.
well,
My own
Yeah,
name.
got it. Okay.
Too many buttons.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bob.
there's Bob.
Hello.
Bob, you look like you know what you're doing.
Well, it just looks that way.
I'm easily fooled.
Looks are deceiving. Oh, the tangle webs we weave whenever we try to deceive.
Hey, that's what I heard Auburn football coaches say
Auburn's got no problem.
today.
I'm here.
Okay, we were wondering.
Well, I just got off the golf course.
Hey,
Did you social distance from your golf ball?
I don't social distance as far as the other people on my team, like Gary Johnson or Mike Kettner or Monty Sams, but still, I hope it's 150, 75 yards out.
I heard when you play golf, you spend a lot of time in the woods.
Yes, I do. I found that's I do that a lot.
Hey, can I join you people?
Come on in.
Ken. Good afternoon.
We will. Okay.
I've got things across the middle of my screen. What am I supposed to do to get rid of that?
I think you can just touch the screen.
I do too.
I do too.
Oh, okay. Maybe we're supposed to.
No, they're gone now. Tap on the screen off of that.
Just touch the screen. I think it'll go away.
Okay, that took it away. Yes.
I just thought you had a headband, Ken.
Do what?
I thought you had a headband.
Oh, yeah.
Rowena makes him take that off when he goes public.
That's right. Yeah. I just wear that around the house.
You starting to sound like Chris now, Ken.
Don't tell me that.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I hear you, Al.
Thank
I
you.
hear you. Yes.
I had a little trouble finding the microphone. There you go.
There he be.
Yes, well, we're missing Chris, right? He doesn't come till 2 minutes before the meeting.
in.
Okay, you're there.
Okay.
I gotta get Roger in.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Lauren,
Did somebody say my name?
I did. Just
Okay.
saw that it looks like you.
It is me. I don't think I have a twin.
Okay.
Do I show up in a little dot down there? Well, hello, Chief.
Hello, good evening.
You didn't join us last time.
No, I didn't have any indiscretions in my agency last time, so.
Oh.
He got a special invitation this time.
I see.
I hear they might be having a buy one, get one up at Akita tonight.
I'm sure it will create a concern for the people traveling that roadway if they do.
I sat in line at 2:30 yesterday afternoon for an hour there.
Oh, my.
Well, I was in line part of the time, and then they had me to go and park in the parking lot. So they had somebody out there directing. They wouldn't let us stay on Morris Boulevard, which was a good thing, Chief. I'd say that you were probably helpful in that.
I think this might be a time to ask for donations to our Thompson Creek Road traffic study.
I think anybody on the East End would donate, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we're hoping we came to a solution for that, and the gentleman's trying to cooperate what he can with his limited space in his parking lot, but we're trying to work with him, find a solution to that will serve the motorists well and will serve the business well also.
I think what you're doing is helped tremendously, but they were just so busy. They had, it's just amazing how that and Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, and we're
Pal's on the West End has that problem sometimes too.
Oh,
yes, we are working with all three of those businesses we are working with.
yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah, I saw they were lining up down on coming out of the park down there. They were sending them around and letting them line up back there. At Akita.
Oh.
Yes, and
Was
I guess
getting them off.
hopefully we'll be able to address that street as well. So, but we're working with them and trying to find a resolution that will work for everyone.
That's good.
Tony, when there's a red dot by my face and down at the bottom, does that mean, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I guess it just means I'm out in the hinterland somewhere.
Yeah, I think we're still waiting on Chris is the only one we're missing right now.
He's got 3 minutes.
Have we received pretty good comments about the appearance of the city center?
It's not been a lot of traffic yet.
A general question of everybody. Are you getting good feedback?
I think it looks great.
I did. Debbie Hyder called me and said it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
What was the crane there for?
That's for the roof project on top.
The repair?
Yes.
We're getting a new roof.
Over on the First North side there, Tony, what are they doing there? It looks like they've got a little section roped off there, right there at the parking area on First North.
I think they're just trying to stage materials in and out. They're just trying to tear things down and get out of here, I think.
Well, it looked like they had a tank or something down in the ground there that they were doing something with or something. I didn't know what that was.
I'll be back.
I didn't see that.
You in?
I'm in.
Yep.
Speakers are unmuted.
There's Chris.
Hello.
There he is.
That's right. Don't forget me, Mr. Cox.
You're here.
That's right.
All right. I think we
Did
got
you get your
everybody
question
clear.
answered for we? All right. Before we convene, Tony, did you have some remarks?
Yes, just for the record and to remind everyone how the meeting goes, I got a few things just to run through. First off, this meeting is being recorded. It will be made available to the public within 48 hours. We were able to do so within 24 last meeting, so I think we'll be able to get that out even quicker this meeting. The recording includes all the pre-meeting comments, so there's absolute transparency in the way that we're conducting the meeting. We've also invited a member of the press who's sitting across in the training room right now watching the meeting take place. He'll be able to report to the public about the transactions of the meeting. We would try and remind everyone to silence your cell phones and do whatever you can to eliminate background noises as much as possible. In terms of the meeting, as we did last time, there's a few things that are different because of the format. Each person must identify anyone that's with them in the room according to state law. So we'll ask you to do that during the roll call. So during roll call, if you would say here and either alone or indicate the people that may be in the room with you. All votes will be taken by a roll call vote, and you must respond verbally. You can't raise your hand or anything like that in order to make the record complete. The roll call will begin with the person making the motion and proceed alphabetically through the order of the council while we take the vote. We'll also ask you, if you're making a motion or a second, to state your name so we have a good record of who made motions and seconds throughout the course of the meeting. Each member of the council has been given a written packet of the agenda for review. If there's any questions, we all are able to refer to that if necessary. And that packet has been made available online to the public, as is our normal practice. Anyone who may be watching this recording later and has a question or a comment can submit that question or comment to cityclerk@mymorristown.com. That's cityclerk@mymorristown.com. Those comments will be distributed to the entire council, and we'll provide responses as appropriate. I think we've got hopefully a light agenda, and things will go smoothly tonight, but that's the comments.
We'll call this meeting to order, and we'll ask Councilmember Ahern if he might lead us in an invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day, Lord. We come to you and we ask your hand on our city, Lord, especially those that are suffering from COVID-19. We ask for healing and comfort for those, Lord. Lord, we ask for wisdom in our decisions today, and we thank you for your grace. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Let's ask the clerk, please call the roll.
Al Ahern,
Here, alone.
Chris Bivens,
Here alone.
Gary Chesney,
Here, alone.
Bob Garrett,
Here alone.
Tommy Pettigo,
Here, lonely.
Kay Center,
Here, alone.
Ken Smith.
Here, alone.
7 present.
Council, a determination by this city council of Morristown, Tennessee, that meeting electronically and prohibiting the physical presence of the public at the meeting is necessary to protect public health, safety, and welfare of all concerned in light of the COVID-19 virus. Can I get a motion and a second that we adopt this determination?
So moved. Yeah.
Motion from, I'm sorry, Smith.
Second, Bivens.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ken Smith,
Yes.
Al Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Bivens,
Yes.
Gary Chesney,
Yes.
Bob Garrett,
Yes.
Tommy Pettigo,
Yes.
Kay Center.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no. Motion passes.
We have the minutes of the April 7th, 2020 meeting. If those have been reviewed and if I would entertain a motion, they be approved as written.
Center, motion to approve.
Ahern, second.
Call the roll.
Kay Center,
Yes.
Ken Smith,
Yes.
Al Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Bivens,
Yes.
Gary Chesney,
Yes.
Bob Garrett,
Yes.
Tommy Pettigo.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no. Motion passes.
We have, under the awarding of bids and contract, first before us is the approval of purchase order number 20002273. This in the amount of $12,829.55 for street marking paint per the statewide contract number 178, and also for purchase order 20002274. This in the amount of $8,880.76 for thermoplastic street markings, this per the statewide contract number 126. This represents a grand total of $21,710.31.
These are routine purchases, just replenishing our supplies. It is a budgeted item. We would recommend approval.
Is there a motion to that recommendation?
So moved.
So moved.
Who made the motion?
I believe that was Pedigo.
Second, Bivens.
Second, Bivens.
Are there any discussion, questions, or comments?
Yes, Tony. Bivens here. This is not an annual thing, is that correct? I mean,
we buy. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
We buy it when we run out, basically. So we buy a stockpile. It may last more than a year. It may last less, depending upon how much work we get done. So, but this is all included in this year's budget and is part of the plan.
Right. Thank you very much. Good explanation of the answer. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll.
Tommy Pedigo,
Yes.
Kay Center,
Yes.
Ken Smith,
Yes.
Al Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Bivens,
Yes.
Gary Chesney,
Yes.
Bob Garrett.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Next is the approval of amendment number 1 to the grant contract Arrow 19-275-00. This is between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and the City of Morristown for the security access system at the Morristown Regional Airport. This amendment increases the original contract in the amount of $35,000.
Council will recall at our last meeting, we awarded a bid for upgrading the security system for the gates going into the airport. And at that point in time, we said it was subject to review and approval by TDOT. That's what's before you today is they are upping the amount in their grant contract to cover the additional cost of the purchase and the installation. We had a 5% local match. It's included in our budget. We would recommend approval.
Do we have a motion to this recommendation?
So moved.
Can you repeat that? Who made the motion?
Ahern.
Thank
Do we
you.
have a second?
Second, Center.
Go ahead, Kay.
Center. Second.
All right, with a motion and a second, are there any questions or comments or remarks on this one?
Tony, did I understand in the information provided that in the long run, although this is more, it will be more cost effective?
Yes, I think this will be much more effective in securing the airport, and I think it's going to be a good system for us. I really do think that they've done a good job in putting the package together, and we're excited.
Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Al Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Bivens,
Yes.
Gary Chesney,
Yes.
Bob Garrett,
Yes.
Tommy Pedigo,
Yes.
Kay Center,
Yes.
Ken Smith.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Next is the approval of the contract between the City of Morristown and Michael Baker International for the East Tennessee Progress Center Site 12 development, the construction services for a total amount not to exceed $95,000.
Council will recall at the last meeting, we approved the contract with the grading contractor. This is the contract for engineering services to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do according to the plans to protect our interest in the construction process. You will recall this project is to increase the availability of pad-ready sites in East Tennessee Progress Center. It is a grant-funded project, about 1/3 from the city, matched by the state and TVA. It's a great project. We're very excited about it, and we would recommend approval.
We get a motion and a second to that recommendation.
So moved, Smith.
Petty goes second.
Any questions or comments on this one?
I think the comment needs to be made that this is the development of more jobs for our area.
Anyone else? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Ken Smith,
Yes.
Al Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Bivens,
Yes.
Gary Chesney,
Yes.
Bob Garrett,
Yes.
Tommy Pettigo,
Yes.
Kay Center.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
And the final one we have in this category is to the approval to confirm emergency purchase of necessary information technology, hardware, and engineering support in the amount of $64,914.78.
Council's aware we had a little problem here with the roofing project. We opened up a seam in the roof. It allowed a significant leak to get into the server room. It damaged a lot of our equipment. We were able to patch things and get them up and running for the time being. But this is a replacement of the hardware for the long term because computer equipment that gets wet is no longer reliable. We have filed a claim with our liability carrier. The roofer has filed a claim with their liability carrier. We're working this out, but we would need to move forward with this purchase to replace the equipment. We did get another quote. This is a valid, comparable price. It's definitely something we need. It's mission critical, and we'd recommend approval.
We have a motion and a second to that recommendation.
Ahern, so moved.
Petty goes second.
Here we have a motion and a second. Are there any discussion?
Yes, I'd like for the council to be made aware of the outcome of those two claims.
Yes, we'll keep you updated. At this point in time, they both sent their adjusters to the site. They're having friendly conversations. Nothing's been resolved yet. We don't have a total loss documented at this point, but we'll certainly keep you aware.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, another question, Tony. Does the roofing contractor have enough general liability insurance to cover a claim such as this?
Yes, the part of the bid package was they provided us a certificate of insurance, and it's more than enough to cover this loss and quite a bit more. They've been very cooperative. I'm not worried about having a loss here.
Good. Thank you very much for your answer.
Anyone else? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Al Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Bivens,
Yes.
Gary Chesney,
Yes.
Bob Garrett,
Yes.
Tommy Pettigo,
Yes.
Kay Center,
Yes.
Ken Smith.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Council, you see under appointments, this meeting is a council appointment or reappointment. This is for the Construction Board of Adjustments, Appeals, and Examiners. This is for a 3-year term, and it's set, would expire, the term we're appointing today expires May 1st, 2023. I think this board, I don't believe they meet very often. In fact, I don't think they've met in the past year. But we have 3 individuals, Jerry Burke, Tim Dyke, and Kevin Rogers, all have agreed to continue. And if the council is in agreement, I would suggest we can name all 3 as a group instead of individually, unless you have others that you would like to nominate. What's the pleasure of the council?
I wouldn't hesitate, this is Bivens, I wouldn't hesitate to do all three at once. What was the center name?
Tim Dyke.
Okay, I got you, thank you.
It's Jerry Burt, Tim Dyke, and Kevin Rogers.
I'd make a motion that we reappoint the three of these back to the same board as you read.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Smith.
Any questions or additional nominations? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Chris Bivens,
Yes,
Gary Chesney,
Yes.
Bob Garrett,
Yes.
Tommy Pettigo,
Yes.
Kay Center,
Yes.
Ken Smith,
Yes.
Al Ahern.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Okay, Cindy, would you express to all three our appreciation and their willingness to serve in this capacity?
We'll do that.
We have before us under new issues that is a disciplinary action brought by the police chief. Chief Overholt, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm asking for confirmation of a disciplinary action to ensure compliance with our civil service regulations. And you have my request in your packet. I'm prepared to answer any questions should you have any.
If there are no questions, do we have a motion that we confirm the action recommended by the chief?
Pettigo, move to confirm.
second, Bivens.
Second, okay. Any questions or comments of Chief Overholt? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Can I confirm the motion in the second?
I think Pettigo made the motion.
Bivens was the second.
Bivens second, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Tommy Pettigo,
Yes.
Kay Center,
Yes.
Ken Smith,
Yes.
Al Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Bivens,
Yes,
Gary Chesney,
Yes.
Bob Garrett.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
We come to the city administrator's report. Tony?
We all know there's a lot going on right now, but I'll try and be brief and just a couple of issues to cover. First, just to remind everyone, if you've not already heard, there is a mass COVID testing event this weekend. There's a drive-through event Saturday from 9 to 4 at the Walter State Expo Center. Nurses and National Guard will be on site to do nasal swabs for anyone who wants to be tested. You do not have to have symptoms. You do not have to meet any criteria. If you show up, you will be tested. Generally, we're getting results back now more quickly than we did earlier, and you should get a result within 72 hours. If you would help us get the word out that this is available, that anyone that has concerns can be tested, there is no cost to the participants, and they can stay in their car the entire time. It's a drive-through process, and it's been working out fairly well. Second thing I wanted to mention and remind you that we are still trying to develop an annual budget that we'll be presenting to council here in a number of weeks. But we had scheduled a workshop to hear from Mark III, our health benefit consultants. Given the circumstances, we're not going to be able to do that. In lieu of that, we prepared a video from Mark III, or Mark III has prepared a video. We'll be sending links to that video out to you here via email either tonight or in the morning. It's a short video. It's no more than 12 minutes. But I'd like to ask each of you to review that video in the next 2 days so that we can get your comments back by the close of business on Thursday. That will allow us to incorporate that into our plans for developing the budget. Will begin Friday through this weekend. So if you would, review the video, send your comments to Cindy. We'll compile all the comments, respond to whatever questions you may have, and send them out to everyone so everyone's on the same page. So we're trying our best to stay ahead of the game with regard to that, and I think that you'll find the video worthwhile, and it is, again, only 12 minutes. And that's all the report I'm going to make today.
We come to the part of comments from mayor and council. I would like to point out the council members, if you haven't already seen it or the results on the updates on the COVID-19 report, Hamlin County has experienced its second death, and we're saddened to say. And it was an elderly woman, I don't know their exact age, who passed away at UT Hospital but resided here. There were the house in which she lived, there were multiple folks who live in that house as well that have tested positive, so we're going to see a bump in our count and that additional fatality. So if you're asked about it, that's all we know at the present time. Some of you may know, or if you haven't opened your email yet, notice that our fire chief, Bill Honeycutt, has announced he'll be retiring. He has set June 26th as his retirement date. I'll let you know that I will be in touch with Pat Hardy, who is with MTAS, and we'll be putting together a search as we expect to. Council, as you know, will be the ones to fill that spot, and we'll conduct a rather extensive search, and so that's coming. And that concludes my comments. Is there anyone else want to have anything they'd like to add before we adjourn?
Yeah, this is Pete Bivens. I don't think we need to look too far on this appointment outside the box on the fire chief. We've got a gentleman that could step in tomorrow, and he's been what would you want to call it? Prepared, pre-prepped. He could step in tomorrow, and there would not be a single step on the city of Morristown that would even miss one step. So I don't think the reappointment of the fire chief needs to be overthought, because due to the fact that I think Clark Taylor would be the gentleman for this position, due to the fact that he's been underneath Butch Honeycutt's wing for many, many years, and I think he could step in, and you would never miss the fact that Butch decided to retire and go home. I think there's many other council members that feel this way, and I don't really and truly think we need to make a complex situation out of something that is very simple. And I am finished talking right there.
Anyone else?
Clark,
I'd like to express my appreciation. Go ahead.
Clark Taylor certainly has my vote, because he is extremely qualified and will keep Harmony and the fire department in the good shape it's in now. That's all I've got.
I'd like to express my appreciation to Chief Overholt and his department. I was in a situation the other day where somebody needed some help. I didn't know what else to do, but I called Chief Overholt, and they resolved the problem within a matter of minutes. And that shows how good our police department is in Morristown.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate those accolades. Thank you.
I would like to say that I would sincerely concur with Mr. Bivens that we should look within our department to see who is available there. And maybe during this time, with everything else that's on our plate, that doing a search is not something we need to also add to all the things that are before us at this particular time. I'd also like for us to, I'm sure we'll be coming up with a reception for Chief Honeycutt before he retires. And I think that would be something, hopefully, that we'll be able to do, that will all be out. And then, Tony, I want to ask you and the mayor, how are we working are going to help PR? Will this be the opening of the city and the steps to be sure that we do this in a safe manner? Since the governor is lifting that April 30th safe at home.
I think we're pretty much going to pay very close attention to the guidelines that come from the governor later this week. And we have a smaller committee that is a subcommittee of the task force that is taking a look at what steps would be taken in the event the economy opens, and that we didn't officially close it. The closings came from state guidelines, but I think we're taking some precautions and discussing this with merchants and chamber folks and exactly how this ought to happen. But there's some discussion going on about it, but we're really waiting to hear what the governor's recommendations are, because certainly we have, I think, precaution and preparation and are the two overriding words, or just my thoughts about it. And Tony, what did you want to add something there?
Yeah, we've got a team that will begin working in earnest tomorrow about city facilities. Again, until we have some more clear guidelines from the governor and the state, we really don't know what the ground rules are. He's only given a press releases about 3 paragraphs, says he intends to lift the order, but doesn't give any indication of what his guidance may be in terms of the number of people for a social event and social distancing in that environment. So we're making some contingency plans and trying to wait and see what we get out of the state.
May I ask what methods are we using or will we use to get this word out to the general public as well?
I think it's difficult to inform people yet when we don't know what the rules are, but we will certainly do our best to get the word out in terms of what's open, using all the avenues we have available. So the paper, the radio, the social media, but it's going to be a challenge, as it has been, as the things have changed and evolved, as the restrictions were laid down. As they're lifted, it also will take some time to get the word out.
Well, I know I was reading earlier a post from the management at Maurice's in the mall, and they were talking about, and maybe somehow we can help facilitate, they were talking about making appointments or coming by and picking something up at the door. So just leave that with you, so maybe somehow we can help coordinate that into the publicity.
These committees that you have, Mayor, will these decisions be made as decisions, or will they be made as recommendations to the council, or will the council be? The reason I ask this is because there's going to be a lot of people looking to council to say what's going on, and I think council would like to be able to say what is happening as the decisions are being made on what's happening.
Well, I think these, as you said, are going to be recommendations, things that council actually has authority over. They will be council decisions, but things of that would be ordinance changes and primarily. But I think mostly it's recommendations, and that's really, I think, what we have from the governor's office now. If we looked at the executive orders of when the definitions between essential and non-essential, there were very few that were designated as non-essential, and many that were essential. And I think decisions on public behavior are resting with business owners and from the White House and also from the governor's mansion. So I think what's going to happen with us, we're going to be making recommendations, I suspect, and hope that they be followed. But our belief is these decisions that get made from above are going to have a trickle-down effect, and the ones that are going to get trickled down upon are going to be us. So I think in answer to your question, we're looking at likely recommendations from the committee, and that's where we are at this point, where there's still a lot of unanswered questions.
I agree.
And if in response on the fire chief vacancy, I'm an admirer of Clark Taylor's as well, and I think he has excellent skills, and I think his preparation is about as solid as could be. But I think we do owe it to the public, and the public expects it from us to make sure we make it open and fair about how we fill it. I'm not talking about doing a nationwide or a southeastern United States search or a broad search, but I do think we have to advertise the opening, and I think the public expects that from us, and I think the public deserves it. So that's my view on that, and that's the steps I proceed to take.
This is Garrett. I think it would be doing the public a disservice to not put him in that position when we know how well he would perform, and it would be leading the other people along when they knew they're not going to get the job. So I respectfully disagree with that opinion.
Okay.
Also, Bivens chiming in here, we can make this a very complex or a very compound appointment. And again, as you all have said, this is a council appointment, and bringing Pat Hardy into a council appointment to go to Upper East Tennessee to look for someone that could fill this position would be an injustice to the city of Morristown, because number one, if we go to that area to look for someone to do this appointment, number one, an example, where is Taft Street in the city of Morristown? I don't know.
Pat's representative of
just say, wait, I'm not finished. Just a broad range observance of mine, and I'm telling you, we can make this a complex appointment, or we can keep it very simple. And going outside of the box, in my opinion, is a mistake on this body. And I am finished.
Okay. All right. Well, MTAS, of course, is not an Upper East Tennessee organization. They represent the state, and I think complex and simple may not be the words we use for filling this position as open and transparent. So Pat's here just to make recommendations. He doesn't have the votes. You all have the votes. We have the votes. So we'll proceed from there. Anyone else? Are there any other items to come before the...
One more past history on the fire chief. Every fire chief that Morristown has ever had has come within the ranks of the fire department, except for one, and he was a total failure. So past history sometimes will tell you a little something. Thank you.
Yeah, and I remember that incident, and you're correct with that memory. Anything else to come before the council? If not, I'd entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Bivens, so move.
I thought you were going to talk more, Bivens.
I said I wasn't going to talk any more about that. Shut up, Betty. Go bye.
Hey, remember, these candid comments are part of this tape.
Hey, nobody's ever been to a meeting, ain't never heard that, have they? Doesn't bother me. Love you,
we're trying to protect everybody as best we can.
Hey, Mayor, I don't need any help. I'm reckless.
Everybody stay well.
Good night. Thank you all.
Night.